Hey everybody, this is Dr. Flight. I hope you're doing great. It is so good to be reaching out to you. We are heading towards the end of the semester. We have a few weeks left here, but I wanted to just reach out with a real quick video just to touch base and hope you're doing well. I know we've had a lot of work this semester just learning about marketing strategy. Navigating the role of marketing, especially at the CMO level within the organization, and all the different components. This semester, we've learned and been exposed to a lot of different theory and a lot of different components and how we think about marketing today, again from a strategic perspective, and that really lies in creating a competitive environment. When you think about your organization and its resources, the competitive landscape and what your competitors are doing, and then the market and what the market expects. So there's really three interconnected components to how we form strategy when we think about market-based solutions. And again, a lot goes into that, and you've had a lot of opportunity to kind of look at different theories, and I hope that through the weekly reflections, it's pushed you a little bit to think about how marketers need to think today and how we need to react and make decisions. So I think the weekly reflections are important. The other component that largely drive, two other components that largely drive what we do are the content reviews. Now, the content reviews are intended to give a little bit of a deeper dive towards very specific theory or content that's delivered in the course. A question for each chapter is basically what those entail, and you all have put a lot of effort into those, and I appreciate all of that. And then the third component is the project, which again, it has four different stages, and we're wrapping that up as we speak. So a little bit on each of these. The reflections, again, are going smoothly. There are a couple left. I know some of you have completed all of them, and so we're in the process of finishing those up and grading those on a weekly basis. Those things happen. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. I know we had to flip two of those towards the end here, and I know that's a little odd, and it caught me a little off guard because I hadn't corrected that in the order. But thank you for being patient with me and adapting towards those. Those have been good. The content reviews. If I if I have the screen, you may be able to see the screen. I don't know if it's there. We have four in all, and the final one is available. And so again, the last content review was chapter 7, 8, and then 11. I know it's a little out of order, but that chapter 11 is creating market advantages through innovation, and that ties in nicely to the project stage where you just created a new product. So that's why that chapter was a little earlier, to align with the project stage 3, which means that chapters 9 and 10 follow. Chapter 9 is largely a chapter focused on launching the product. So at the very end, when we launch a product, we set a price, we consider its branding position and kind of package elements and where it's going to be located distribution wise, and a communication plan. So those three big P's are sort of at the launch stage, and a lot of work goes into kind of thinking about what the product should be, and the firm resources and the competitive landscape. That's all strategy stuff, and then the execution happens towards the end of the launch, the last stage when we're bringing the product to market. So that's what that stage 4 of the project, and also chapter 9 is largely based on that. Chapter 10 is a fun chapter because it deals with playing a game. When you're in competition with somebody, you're playing a game with them, and you see how they react, and then you react, and that's all about chapter 10 is really focused on It's called gaining a sustainable competitive advantage and how those advantages are gained, but it also deals with reactive and proactive strategies to impact your competitors. And that's a big part of, if you think about economic game theory and things like that, and just being competitive, like what your playbook's going to look like compared to your competitors and matching up against a competitor and all of that. That's really a fun area of strategy, and it's what we end up with the very last chapter of the semester. So the content review for number four, the fourth content review though, is just on two chapters, so there's two questions. It's available and there for you. So have fun with those two questions. Again, tie into those questions and your answers content that you've learned from the class. It's a big part of this. I need to see that there are things in the course you've seen that you're communicating in those content reviews. The last and third part of this brief update then would be our project stage 4. And so if we pull that up, again you'll see that we have a description of the project. Again, you're familiar with what the project is, all 4 stages. It's a comprehensive thing. Y'all have done well with that. I'm in the process right now of reviewing and providing feedback for stage 3. So you just turn that in, and I'm turning that around pretty quickly. You'll have feedback relatively soon, the next few days, if not the weekend, so that as you address stage 4, you'll be good to go. Stage 4, and again, it's available here, and I'm probably going to do a little video on it. But short of that, when we look at stage 4, I'll pull this over. This is just the Word document. It's really all about, again, preparing for launch. If you think about what you need to do to actually execute the product in the market, by now you've established a price, because that was something you should have done in number 3, stage 3. That's a big component. When we think about price, it impacts profit margins and sales revenue and all of that. So that's an early decision. But once we start marketing, quote, marketing the product or bringing the product to market, we want to think about where the product's going to be distributed and who the partners will be. Will it be in the retail setting? Will it be online? Will it be, we look at channel design, different ways the consumer can come into contact with the customer, those types of things. So that's solidly distribution and the place P, if you will. And then finally, the actual promotion is largely built upon building awareness for the product. How are you going to build awareness for the product so that the market knows about it and is motivated to buy it? Those are two big things that really drive awareness, or the promotion P. It's a big concept, and in fact, when most people say marketing, they assume, or they just jump into the promotion P. It's actually a very small, like, area in the bigger picture, but of course it's essential, right? It has to happen. So talk about how your product's going to be presented. That could be through media, it could be the design, the look, the logo, the brand, all those different things like that. So the launch of the campaign is that piece there. So again, stage 4 is, in my mind, a little anticlimactic because all the hard work has been done, and this is sort of the I don't know, it's the sizzle that makes it sell, I guess. So that's kind of where it is. It's important, obviously, but it's taking what you've already done in the product development, understanding why your product has been designed the way it is, all of its advantages in the marketplace, things you're leveraging with the firm, and it's bringing it as a value proposition to the market. Okay, now also, and I make point of this in the assignment space here. And when you pull this up for stage 4, what I do want you to do is to take your other stages and combine them into one document and submit the one document at this stage level, at stage 4. So in other words, you'll have one document that has your entire project, all of the stages together, including stage 4, in one piece. Just make sure that it's proofread, that it flows, that the fonts are all the same throughout. It's one document that's a clean document that has the entire project in one piece. I'm grading stage 4. I mean, the stage 4 will get its own separate grade. So you have 4 separate components to the project. Each is graded individually, but the deliverable is one piece, that one document that we see here as a conclusion. And this will be the most likely the very last thing you turn in as a certainly as your group, but also probably as the term concludes. So reach out to me if you have questions. Let me know if you want me to look over any of your work. I'm happy to do that. Obviously, our time horizon is becoming shorter and shorter, so just be aware of that. But otherwise, have fun with this. Again, I hope that this kind of helps you think of business in a different way. I mean, that's kind of one of the goals, regardless of if you are, I know most of you are not marketing majors or whatnot. Some of you are, but regardless of where you fit into the business scheme functionally, this course should help you think about how firms compete, if nothing else, differently, and how detailed we often are, and how the marketing function contributes to that. Okay, so again, just a quick video to reach out to you, just to ground us a little bit on where we're going over the next few weeks, and go from there. All right, so thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. Thanks.